After several grueling hours beneath the relentless twin suns, the silhouette of Norto finally rose from the heat haze like a monument to cruelty. High sandstone walls encircled the city, their surfaces etched with age, blood, and conquest. At its heart loomed the Great Pyramid, vast and oppressive. King Baka's throne, a symbol of dominion over the desert. At the gates, armed guards barred their entry, spears crossed. The exchange was tense, but Shadowfang's silver tongue, paired with a discreet exchange of coin and Wilhelm's imposing presence, convinced the guards to look the other way. With a heavy creak, the gates opened, and the party stepped into Norto. Inside, the city was alive. Markets buzzed, people shouted, and slaves shuffled past under watchful eyes. They split their time combing taverns, markets, and plazas, following every whisper and rumour. Eldralon watched the crowds with a calculating gaze. Jojo listened from the shadows, and Randall stayed close, hand never far from his sword. Hours passed. Nothing. As the suns dipped lower, desperation crept in. Finally, they descended into the slums, where the streets narrowed and the air stank of rot and fear. This was where secrets were sold cheap and lives cheaper. There, huddled near a torn shelter, they found a young beggar and his little brother. After a tense discussion, a cruel choice was made. The younger boy was brought inside, safe but unmistakably a hostage. The older brother was given a simple task: find information, or he would never see his sibling again. The wait was agonizing. They spoke in hushed voices, weighing other options should this gamble fail. Wilhelm's jaw was clenched, his fists tight. Shadowfang remained silent, eyes fixed on the tent flaps. Even Jojo couldn't mask his unease. 2 hours later, the boy returned, out of breath, terrified, but successful.
The fighting pits, he whispered. Your friends, they're being auctioned today. As gladiators.
The decision was immediate. The boys were released unharmed, a gold coin pressed into their hands before they fled into the streets. 2 hours remained. They sought shelter and answers at the Oasis Tavern, a sprawling den of smoke, drink, and deals. They took seats, ordered drinks, and began planning. Then, a voice cut through the noise.
Wilhelm Wolfsbane.
The tavern fell quiet, at least in Wilhelm's ears. Across the room stood a group of dwarves, older, scarred, and hardened by years of battle. Their eyes never left him. Wilhelm rose slowly. One dwarf strode forwards, boots heavy against the stone floor.
You don't recognize me, boy,
he said.
Kurga! I knew your father, hunted beside him, followed him into battle.
Wilhelm hesitated. His father had commanded many. Kurga grunted and reached into his cloak, producing a brooch, worn, nicked, but unmistakable. Wilhelm knew it instantly. His guard broke. A rare smile crossed his face as he stood and embraced the dwarf. The two spoke of old battles and older scars, laughter briefly cutting through the tension. Wilhelm asked about the auctions. However, Kurga shook his head.
You know as much as I do. But if your friends are in the pits...
His expression darkened.
The sands drink deep there.
Far below the arena, in the stone-buried dungeons, Lucius, Dalamar, Ogblog, and Arden sat in iron cages. Dalamar and Ogblog were close enough to speak. Dalamar called out, weaving charm and promise into his words, attempting to sway a passing guard. The man hesitated, tempted. Then the air shifted. Boots echoed down the corridor. Senny, the pitmaster, arrived. She was fire given flesh, sharp-eyed, sharp-tongued, her fury immediate. One glance at the guard told her everything. With a furious tirade, she stripped him of duty and stormed away, leaving the prisoners in darkness until their fate would be decided above. When the party reached the fighting pits, the roar of the crowd was deafening. They merged into the sea of nobles, merchants, and warlords, coin in hand, hunger in their eyes. Chains rattled. Onto the stage were marched Lucius Dalamar, Ogblog and Arden, bruised and unbroken. Guards bristling around them. The crowd cheered. And the auction began.